I am Sarah Jane Case, and this is Enneagram and Coffee. Hello everyone, happy Thursday. Today we're doing a behind the curtain episode where I pull back the curtain and share with you what the heck I was thinking by changing the name of my Instagram account. But first, today's rosebud and thorn. So my rose is that we tried the TikTok pasta, gone viral. Basically, you put a bunch of cherry tomatoes in a pan with some olive oil and salt and pepper, and you put a solid block of feta cheese in there, and you top that with salt and pepper, and you sprinkle it all with oregano. You bake it in the oven for 35 minutes at 350 degrees. And then you just mix it all up and you put your pasta in there, and it is incredible. So that's the highlight. My bud is that at some point this week, I know that I'm going to have stomach cramps and I'm going to be sitting on my couch with my heating pad watching sappy movies. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a nice little break. And my thorn is this conundrum of loving to burn candles, but feeling a little bit nervous to do it because I don't want to run through my candles too fast. Tell me if you relate. I want to have a candle burning all the time because it feels so cozy. It makes me feel like we're really living our life in this really sweet way. But then I'm always putting it off because I feel weird about it. And this is some social 7 behavior, being so excited about something and then kind of forcing myself to moderate it. But that's my thorn today. It's a nice light one. All right, let's get into some behind the scenes stuff. So if you didn't know, I changed the name of my Instagram account from Enneagram and Coffee to my name, Sarah Jane Case. If you've been a listener of the podcast for a while, you kind of knew this might be coming, but for a lot of people, it came out of nowhere. And today I'm going to do my best to give you the unfiltered reasons behind that change. It's tempting to give you the reasons that I think you'll like better, but I'm just going to be fully honest because I don't know how else to be a person. All right, so the first reason is that I was tired of being treated like a product and not like a person. So over on Enneagram and Coffee Instagram, sometimes people would engage with me as if I wasn't a whole human being. And my best guess is that they saw me as kind of a corporation or as a larger entity. And they didn't realize that I was just this one person back here with feelings and a heart and everything running the content. And I really just wanted people to see me for me and not like I'm some robot producing content for them. The second reason is that I'm not confident that Enneagram memes are the future. And there's kind of 3 different reasons for that. The first is that it's really hard to do the Enneagram justice with them. They're fun and they're fun to share and they're fun to see yourself in. But also so many people are finding the Enneagram through the memes, and it can really limit their access to what the Enneagram is, and it creates really confusing conversations in the comments. You can really tell someone who's gone in and done Enneagram work and the way that they engage with the memes versus people who have done no work or no personal growth and how they engage with the memes. And quite frankly, it was starting to be really difficult for me to manage the comments because I can't really have that lengthy of a conversation. I don't want to be you're commenting this way because you haven't explored yourself enough and you haven't done the work enough. And I don't think that that's my job, right? I don't think forcing someone into the work is my goal, but rather when you come to me wanting support or when you're ready to take that step, I want to be there for you. So I just don't know that it does the Enneagram justice. The second one is, quite frankly, I'm already kind of annoyed with them myself. It just gets a little bit old and gets a little bit repetitive, and it's hard I don't enjoy consuming them as much anymore, and that's usually a sign for me that it's time for me to move on or time for me to make a change or a shift. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going away right now or maybe ever, but it's part of the reason I wanted to have that option to create content that wasn't exclusively Enneagram meme content. And third is that, simply I changed. My father passed last year, and it was a really soul awakening moment for me of just kind of touching in with who I am, what I want, where I come from. And I got a lot more clear about what felt like excess to me and what felt like purpose. And I just want to be in line with my purpose. And I'm moving in that direction. I was also feeling, number 4, I was feeling limited and spread thin at the same time. I have 2 Instagram accounts, and one of them was the larger one, and it was the one that I felt the most restricted in. Like I couldn't just be myself 100% on Enneagram and Coffee. And then at the same time, I was trying to maintain both of these accounts equally, giving them both everything that I had. And it was exhausting, and it wasn't fruitful for me in terms of like life satisfaction. And so we're just trying out really putting all of my energy into one place instead of trying to divide it between the 2. But I want to do that with the work that's most aligned for me, which I'll get into a little bit more later. I also, wanted a place on the internet to just go and play. And so I kept my other account, and I will keep pouring into that account because it's really a happy place for me on the internet. But it's kind of carved out as that. Like, this is my place that I get to come and play and not be a business, but just be me. And the final reason is, quite frankly, that I want to write books. I want to write lots of them about things other than the Enneagram. And the best path forward for me to do more of what I want to do is to lean into my personal brand, lean into my name, so that as I write books, they're associated with me and not Enneagram and Coffee, because I don't think I will be Enneagram and Coffee into my 40s. I think it will change over time. So I want something that can change with me as I grow and change. So I wanted to answer some of the questions that have come into the DMs, or questions that I think you might have. So the first one is, isn't this going to cause people to unfollow you? And yeah, probably. And I know some of you already have, or some people already have. I completely anticipate that and expect that, and that's okay. I really want to be in alignment with my purpose, and in order to do that, I think some people who aren't in alignment with my purpose will go, and that's probably for the best. The second question is, are you going to stop talking about the Enneagram? Not at all. But I want to talk about the Enneagram in context to the things that I really know the best: self-care, productivity, corporate teamwork, and entrepreneurship. Like, those are my true zones of genius. It's just like, how do you take care of yourself? How do you communicate those needs to other people? How do you get more done in less time and manage your time so that you feel really confident in that? And then how do we take that into either entrepreneurship or into the corporate environment? Either or. Example of this not being the case is that, I'm not a parenting expert, but when I would do, talks, or I would go to do events, because I was talking about the Enneagram in general, I would get asked about parenting, and I could answer that from like an Enneagram perspective, but that's just not my area of expertise. I'm still learning in that area, and I don't really have a ton to share personally because I'm a young parent, and it's just not my area. And so really honing in on what can I use the Enneagram to do to make the most impact in people's lives. For me, that is self-care, time management, and your relationship to work. Like, that is what I know the best. The third question is, are you worried? Like, is this scary? And kind of. Not as much about people unfollowing, but more so because I know that the engagement will go down for a little bit, and that kind of freaks me out. But also I know that this is an inevitable step toward where I want to be going. So we just have to take it. It's been months, even years in the making, honestly. And so I've been very cautious about this, which is growth for me. And I'm just going to be okay with the fact that like engagement might go down and people might think I like have a weird account, and makes me uncomfortable, because one of the things I was most proud of with Enneagram and Coffee is that not necessarily we had this like large following, but like our following was highly engaged. Like, people were really excited about the content and really participating in it. And anytime you make a pivot with an account, your engagement will go down because it's confusing for people and they don't really remember why that you're in their feed, and all of that can happen. And it's just kind of inevitable, and it's just a little sad. Final question is, are you 7ing out? Which 7ing out is the term that I use when I'm just like deep in my type structure and being really reactive. And this is a question I've asked myself a lot. And that's the reason it's taken me months, even years, to make this shift. But I can honestly say that I'm making this decision from a very grounded, well thought out place of knowing what vision I have for my future and what will take me there and what will take me down the wrong road. Like if I know where I want to be in 5 years and I know that running Enneagram and Coffee as it stood would not take me there, then I'm driving down the wrong street, right? Like I'm just driving down Patton Avenue. If you live in Asheville, hey, you know these roads. I'm driving down Patton Avenue trying to get to, South Asheville, whatever. A niche example there, but I'm driving down one road trying to get to another and driving in the completely wrong direction. If you are a regular podcast listener, you're already on this transformation journey with me. Like the podcast changes this year are indicative of how I hope to shift the Instagram account moving forward. So thank you so much. Like, thanks for being here and for getting it and being on board with all of this shifting and changing that we're doing. I feel so excited about it, and it means a lot that you're on the journey with me. If you have questions about this, you can text me at 828-338-9127. Now, today's food for thought is from Abraham Maslow. In any given moment, we have 2 options: to step forward into growth or step back into safety. As always, it's such a joy to create this content for you, and I will see you tomorrow for another interview.